Domina takes us back to the final days of the Roman Empire, where we're led to believe that life was cheap and the nightly entertainment included a good bit of eye gouging and dismemberment. The game is a management sim, based around the running of a gladiatorial school, or ludus. Here you must train your troops to fight in the ultimate battle royale with the Emperor's elite in 1 year's time. You play as a Roman noblewoman, the titular Domina. She inherits her father's ludus in a fairly disreputable state and has to spend her time and money rebuilding it, training an elite deadly fighting force and balancing the whims of the local magistrate and legate. The gameplay is quite straightforward. There are 3 main areas of management you need to take care of: your resources, your buildings, and of course, your gladiators. You start with 3 gladiator slaves and can acquire more through purchase or by winning more slaves in gladiatorial combat, assuming your original slave survives. Gameplay takes place in one of 2 areas, either back home at the ludus or in the blood-soaked arena. At the ludus, you spend your money on resources, improvements and slaves for the embetterment of your school. You have to manage food and water supplies, which also go towards the cost of enhancements, as well as keeping your fighters alive. Wine supplies are important too, as they can be used to keep the magistrate and legate, who spend most of their time as permanent installations on your balcony, in a friendly state of mind. Keep them friendly enough and they will patronise one of your slaves, absorbing his upkeep cost. That is, until they inevitably die a gory and agonising death for the entertainment of others. In the arena, your control is initially quite limited. Your gladiator is on his own and you have to hope that you've trained him well enough and equipped him properly. Combats can take on all forms, from the basic 1-to-1 to the outrageously stacked odds of chained opponents, to the sheer madness of 1 versus many opponents, including lions. Each combat scenario is random and you have to choose to accept or decline the terms. However, declining a match comes at the cost of upsetting your guests, whereas the rewards for winning will enable you to improve your ludus and prepare for the next fight. One feature of the game that I do love is that you can either play it as a pure management sim, or you can invest in a skill called mind control, allowing you to take over direct control of your people in the arena. You can then switch roles from Domina to Gladiator, quote your best Maximus Decimus Meridius and start chopping off limbs, assuming you have the skill. Combat is fast-paced and brutal. Oftentimes you find yourself unsure just who won and who exploded in a spray of pixelated gore. Luckily, one of the first skills you can train your gladiator in is humility, which gives you the option to beg for your life by pummeling your mouse and keyboard until the mercy bar is full. Failure to do so will result in a brutal execution, much to the enjoyment of the baying crowd. Over time, you will find yourself become quite attached to your gladiators, especially those that can fight. The risk of losing them versus the rewards of winning the combat becomes quite difficult to choose between, but ultimately you'll discover in Domina that whilst life is really quite cheap, time is not on your side. You only have 365 days to prepare for the ultimate gladiatorial combat in Rome's arena. Time is a commodity like any other resource, and you can spend it on skills and upgrades. However, when it runs out, you must fight, whether you're ready or not. The shame or glory of your family name depends on it. Ultimately, Domina is an enjoyable management game with enticing pixel art and a banging soundtrack that only gets better, bigger and louder once you enter the arena and the blood really gets pumping. The game takes less time to play than you will spend questioning your morals for having done so. A full playthrough can be completed in a couple of hours, which is just as well, as there's currently no save feature. If you die or leave the game, you must start right back at square one. However, I quite like the lack of the save. It makes you appreciate what it feels like to sell your time for enjoyment at the risk of losing everything in an instant. And in the end, isn't that what it's all about? Nah, it's about exploding pixels and sick beats. Ave Domina!